Oh, hey. Welcome back. This is the East Coast Bowhunting Podcast.
Hay's for horses.
Or,
cows.
there you go. Because we love horses and cows. I don't know how that makes reference to the East Coast Bowhunting Podcast, but we're at it. I mean, this is a fun episode, man. We really touch home on a lot of different subjects. We let loose, have fun. Zach Ferenbaugh from the Hunting Public really kind of touches home on what we're all about, the greater good. Hashtag the greater good, hashtag unity. And this is a closed group.
Hashtag if you don't know, now you know.
Hunter.
Oh, you know what? Let's go into that a little bit.
Oh, jeez.
No, not in a negative way. It's we had a listener reach out.
John.
No. We won't name him. His first name is John
Smith.
Sure.
He's the man.
He is the man, and we really, really appreciate his support. He reached out to us, and
from day one,
he got misconstrued on the hashtag. If you don't know, now you know, Hunter. He took it as if you don't know, now you're no hunter. Well, we just want to set record straight. It's not that at all. I took it from my boy Biggie. Biggie Smalls, God rest his soul, I got several chances to converse with him, shake his hand, and I kind of bit off his style a little bit because he always had a compassion for the outdoors. He was never a hunter, truth be told, but he was always in the outdoors.
Humans.
Well, I won't even say that because he actually had a big love for the game.
Oh, of course. I'm just messing around.
No, he was big love. But back to the hashtag, if you don't know, now you know, Hunter, is piggybacking off of Biggie Smalls, is just, if you don't know, now you know. And it was nothing more than that, just bring comic relief. Thank you for reaching out to us, the listener, because we set things straight. And now he understands where we got that from, why we promote it, and what we're all about. Because we're bringing education to people's ears.
And on that note, I think honestly, like if there's anything that you guys think that maybe we may say or do that kind of bothers you, is that we're normal human beings, and it's not hard to.
Well, we're not normal, but we are human beings.
We know that there's no close to normal. But like, if there's an issue or a problem, man, just reach out.
Hell,
I'll take the time out of my day to write back to you, to talk to you, let you know, clarify anything. I have no problem with that. You can PM me on my personal page. It's Trevor Berwick, or you can find me on Instagram, anywhere, even the East Coast stuff. Any of those platforms, man. If there's any issues or problems, please reach out to us, man, because we'd really like to, we strive for that unity and that love and just kind of getting new hunters into it and stuff. We don't, we are funny and we joke around and stuff, but we do take stuff very seriously, and we have no problem in clarifying anything that we say or do.
Word. And Ryan, what do you have to touch on that, actually? Because that was perfect. I was going to say something funny, but I can't, man, because that was perfect, Trev. What do you got, Ryan?
Well, honestly, spinning off of that as well is these people didn't know that. So if you don't know, now you know, Hunter. So, like Trev said, if you need anything clarified, reach out to us. But we're all in good fun. We're all in that positivity. We may make spin-offs of it, being a little on the border, as D-Rock says. But we're all in it for good fun. We're all out there having a good time and preaching unity, peace, positivity. We're all in this together. So if you guys got any questions, we're all here. We're all ears.
Amen. And so what we bring to you on this episode is, again, hashtag unity. We are building a community of podcasts, which include WCB, Working Class Bowhunter. They are the brand in the hunting community, the hunting industry. They are the podcast to listen to. If you don't listen to them and you want to get a little East Coast flavor, hey, listen to us, East Coast Bowhunting Podcast. If you want a mix or a variety of the East Coast flavor mixed into Midwest and a little dabble of the West, check out the Hunting Public. I mean, our boy Zach, he really lays down some knowledge, and he discloses some shit he never even talked about on any other platform. So
you pussies drinking beer?
Well, let the listeners hear. Let the listeners
I can't
hear.
get over it, man.
And just quick shout out to Deer Hunter Podcast, Truth from the Stand Podcast. They are supporters of us, and we support them. And Kevin Vistison, in August 15th, he'll be releasing his short film, which is, I think, an hour long, called The Force, which is dope as fuck. So if you haven't seen that, guess what? You're going to see it soon. We'll be doing a giveaway of that movie, disclosed. And Truth from the Stand. I mean, shit. Clint Campbell out of PA, he's East Coast, solidified. Close friends to Johnny Utah, which recently was on Working Class Bowhunter. Check out that episode. I mean, we're a close family, and that's what it's about. So we hope you love this episode, and please stay tuned. Hit it.
Lydia Walter, why East Coast Bowhunting Podcast?
Because neither one of us wear pink camo.
East Coast Bowhunting Podcast. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Look, man, I'm from Wisconsin. I listen to the East Coast Bowhunters because you don't get anything more real than these guys.
Because East Coast Bowhunting sets the standards for keeping its listeners informed on everything that matters in the hunting industry.
Nice having somebody, local and represent the East Coast boys.
The East Coast is going to saddle up.
Number one source for slaying whitetails on the East Coast.
Well, you might see Jesus if you actually choose something that'll get you into heaven.
Why East Coast? Why not? I'm East Coast, baby. That's how we roll. Chew on that.
Come on the show, a stranger, and you feel like one of the boys when you leave.
Because I get my hunting camp anytime I want.
There's some absolute monsters roaming the East Coast, and I think it needs a little attention, so why not bring it to the East Coast Bowhunters Podcast?
Man, because East Coast is a tight-knit crew, and y'all like me. Raw, real, no bullshit.
Because you guys are hometown boys. I love you guys.
East Coast Bowhunting Podcast.
This is Kurt Geyer with Working Class Bowhunter, and East Coast Bowhunting Podcast is the only hunting podcast I'll tune into.
Damn, Ryan. That Tinder video is fucking sexy. I honestly like the Grinder one better because you were wearing that catcher attire and had the picture throwing you fastballs. But this Tinder one is hot. Especially with the Snow Camo Ritual 33. Did you use a fluffer for that?
No fluffer needed.
Oh, damn. Oh, shit, my bad. Didn't know we were recording. What's up, everyone? This is the East Coast Bowhunting Podcast. And we're here in Slayer's studio in Coventry, Connecticut, hiding in the mountains of God's heaven. I'm your boy D-Rock, here with
East Coast Trev
and
Ryan the Porn Star.
And we have a fun one today with Zach from the Hunting Public as he talks about how he brings an East Coast flavor to the Midwest. This episode is brought to you by Shabeen Brewing, the Hunter's Beer. Shabeen. 100 Demons, East Coast hardcore music known worldwide. Trev's Euros for all your Euromount needs on Facebook. And hit him up, DM him for a re-whitening touch-up if you feel that you need it whiter. Because white is right, Trev?
Yep.
Cool. When it comes to bone, that's true. Ethics Archery, it's like steroids for your arrows. Use promo code EastCoast10. Death Wish Coffee, the world's strongest coffee, fueled by death. Listen to their Deathcast. Use promo code EastCoast10. Tree Thrasher, imitate the wild. Use promo code EastCoast15. Meyer Trail Cameras, who's on your hit list? Encore Targets, self-healing targets to self-heal your pockets. Outright Hunting, the Morph Pro is the last bow hanger you'll ever buy. Gator Outdoors, outfitting the working class. The one-stop shop. This show is driven by Scranton Motors and powered by Scranton Power Sports. So get your GM and a Polaris to ride right. Saddle up with Wild Edge Inc., the leader in mobile hunting. The game changer in picking your hunting spot. Nor'easter game calls. Get them in close. Get your ECB grunt call, turkey pot call, or 3D memory. so this way you get a fully custom call built the way you need it. This show is presented by Working Class Bowhunter, the brand of the hunting industry. The yes to your no. We are East Coast Bowhunting Podcast, here as always for new and old hunters by sharing our experiences in the woods through playing and slaying. What's up?
What's up, boys?
What's happening?
Shit, another day in the studio. Living the dream.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Shit, let's start it off right.
Shabby.
You're a little late to the party here.
Well, you know, someone's got to say it right in the beginning. We can't get too sloppy before we start, you know? I got my little lemon water to the side. Got to stay refreshed. And I got my Shabin to the left, that Guava Kush. Which one you sipping on, Trev?
I got the John Beer today.
John Beer.
John Burr.
Don't be queer. Go John Beer. What you got, Ryan?
Duh. There's John Beer in the house. You know what I got.
No, I don't. That's why I'm asking.
John Beer.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, you know I stick on that Guava Kush, man. Got to stay all natural. And we do have water breaks. Do have lemon water and Tito's to the side when we need water breaks. And, you know, as they call it out in WCB, Mother's Milk. Talking about WCB. If you want to save you some money on HHA, use promo code WCB15 to save you 15%. And if you want to get some WCB gear, use promo code ECB to save you some money on shipping. This way, you know, anything under $50, you get to save yourself some money on shipping. Anything over $50, they have their own promo code, so you get free shipping. So check them out. Cool Ass Podcast. Talking about Cool Ass Podcasts, this episode we're going to be talking to the hunting public, specifically Zach. And Zach is the other long-haired motherfucker just like me, but he's a little more country. You know, he doesn't rock the gold chain and the Rolex, but he's cool as shit. So this is going to be a fun one for sure. And on top of that, he does bring that, like I said earlier, that East Coast flavor to the Midwest. You know that boy's out of Ohio? Did you guys know that?
I do now.
Oh, I already knew that.
You did know that?
Yeah, I did know that.
Oh, because you're somewhat of a journalist, aren't you?
What's up, my fellow savages, and welcome back to the weekly Whitetail News with Ryan the Porn Star. Now, usually I like to bring East Coast news to our listeners, but of course, a lot of you are in need of some Midwest news. No, not Midwest nudes, D-Rock. Midwest news.
Damn it.
Yeah, they can keep those.
Trev, what do you got? Any nudes?
No nudes.
Yeah, you do.
I'll give you my nude.
No, thank you.
Nope.
Okay.
So back to Ryan.
Yeah, anyways. Thanks to our friend and supporter, Mike Salter, for sending me his news.
His what?
His news.
Oh.
You know Mike's good for that.
Damn. I gasped for breath for a second there.
This piece of news comes from the great state of Illinois. The Illinois DNR has posted an increase of conservation fines, which took effect as of July 1st. The conservation violation fines have increased from $120 to $195 for those fines that can be paid through mail. So those are going to be your smaller offenses. And now, obviously, the civil penalties have increased as well. And I won't go through all of those. There's a ton of different animals you can be offended for. But I will touch, of course, on the whitetail fines.
You do touch a lot of things, don't you?
Well, yeah. So what?
That's his job, bro.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? You gotta use your hands, no?
Shit, you're getting breaking news as we speak on your phone.
Shit, what the hell's coming in here?
That's fucking awesome.
Isn't that
Continue,
pretty neat?
please. Oh, wow. This is even more breaking news.
A person who possesses an illegal antlered whitetail, whether whole or part, captured or killed, will be paying some serious big money, and rightfully so.
Not good for a broke-ass Mexican like
No,
that.
absolutely not. So anyone that is in violation of this act shall pay restitution to the DNR in the amount of $1,000 per whitetail antlered deer, but also an additional $500 per antler point. Yeah. So they start this, so any antlered deer up to 7 points is an automatic $1,000. As soon as you go past the 7 points, you're going to be adding that extra $500. So an 8-point deer is a $5,000 fine.
Jesus. So do they go by like Pope and Young rules when it comes to point? Because
No.
it's got to be larger than an inch? Or are they just like counting stickers?
I don't think they give a fuck.
So no.
Well, I mean, shit, that would be my gripe if I was to break the law. You know what I mean? It's
No,
like,
D-Rock,
shit.
that's a good point. So, as quoted by the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, the white-tailed deer point means a projection on the antler of a white-tailed antler deer that is at least 1 inch long as measured from the tip to the nearest edge of antler beam and the length of which exceeds the length of its base.
Damn.
So that's basically what you're getting at, right?
Don't break the law.
Don't
Be
break
ethical.
the law. So any deer that has, from 8 point all the way up to 11 point, you've got that $500 fine. Anything 11 points or more, that $500 per point is going to $750 per point.
Damn.
So a 14-point deer is $11,500 fine.
So basically, if you're a rich fuck, you're still good?
Yeah, but don't break the law and you're even better.
Damn, boy. I need to get rich.
Hell yeah.
No.
So for you
Be
guys,
ethical.
you guys shooting those booners out there that have got massive junk all over them, whatever it may be, there are some hefty freaking fines.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's staying clean. He said frickin'.
I did, right?
That's cool.
That's
Please
cool.
continue. You
So,
got a lot more.
Good for you, Illinois DNR, for cracking down on that illegal hunting. Now, we are just 2 months away from archery deer season here in Connecticut, and our listeners from the beginning know that the whitetail news becomes more of just that when the season begins. For our new listeners, you can expect to hear weather reports, moon phases, and prospective peak activity times going along with that weather, those moons, and what you may go with off of that. So going along with that, Mike Salter has also sent me more news, is regarding a study
More
on
what?
News.
Ah, okay.
Still no nudes from Mike, but after this
Shit.
episode, I don't know if I want to check my inbox.
I don't know if Trev wants to check his.
So this particular article is regarding a study on moon phases and deer movement. The QDMA has posted the results from a study done by Penn State. Actually, I guess that's almost East Coast news.
Penn State is.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Pennsylvania's East Coast.
Yeah.
Hands down.
What we call them? Middle Easterners, right? Is that what we call them?
But Middle Easterners, not like, la, 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 la. It's Middle Easterners like, I will shoot deer.
That had a little bit of a accent to it still.
Sorry. There's Mexicans in Pennsylvania, too.
But anyways, the folks at Penn State conducted this research with 30 does wearing GPS tracking collars. And their results show very little to no difference in deer activity between the new moon, partial moon, and full moon phases.
Did they have a pimp antlered buck collaring those does?
I'm sure he did some collaring.
Damn.
Damn.
There's even pimps in the wood game.
Hell yeah, 30 of them.
That's crazy. I wonder if he slapped them with his hooves.
You would think so.
Like a little 1-2. Bitch, give me my money.
D-Rock's getting a little rowdy tonight.
Nah. It's just, got to keep it interesting because, I mean, we don't know if the bucks are pimping out their does out there.
Their hoes.
It's all about hoes and does, right? Hoes and does.
So you guys can all take that information how you want in regards to your hunting tactics. But what sticks out to me about this study was that it was only does. So bucks may, of course, still react to those moon phases, even though these particular does do not. So keep doing your thing. Keep practicing your setups and put boots on the ground. And that is your weekly Whitetail News brought to you by Ryan the Porn Star. And as always, send me your news.
And Trevor, your nudes.
I think we should send D-Rock the nudes from now on.
Why? Nice. Welcome back to the Border News. Brought to or is it called the Borderline Corral with borderline issues at hand?
The border wall?
Something like that. Well, welcome to the border, to your boy D-Rock. And today to spread more positivity, man, if you're an immigrant trying to get into our country, which is a beautiful country heading into in real time, this is just before 4th of July in podcast land. It's probably going to be a couple weeks past. But this is some good news to bring to all you immigrants and Americans that want to get hitched. We do encourage the engagement encounters. Even if you're not Catholic, this is a Catholic-driven organization, nonprofit organization. They're all over the nation. And if you want to get married, again, if you're not Catholic or have a different religion or don't believe in shit, but you believe in each other, bring it to this nonprofit organization. And we went to the Wappingers Fall, New York, ran by Father Tom, John and Carmela, and Vinny and Angela. And what this program does is it's a test of faith, so to speak. And you get to know your partner in a more intimate level to see if you guys should really get hitched or not. Unfortunately, the numbers to marriage versus divorce rate, it's above, I think, 55% divorce rate versus successful marriages. Let's bring those numbers back to the positive side and more successful marriages, just like conservation. So I think we can correlate both positivity to bring marriage percentages up, conservation numbers up, and believing in what's right. So again, check out Engagement Encounters. A wedding is a day, of marriage is a lifetime. Brought to you by the Borderline of Borderline Issues? Something like that.
Sure.
We'll figure it out.
It'll come.
Someday. Maybe.
Of course it'll come, right? Ryan the porn star?
That's not what I meant, but I get what you're saying.
Right. So let's bring it to, I think we have a new segment, or an existing segment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think that would be?
It's Foraging and Fishing Fun with East Coast Trev.
Is it foraging and fishing, or Trev's bloopers, or is it a mixture of both?
Or is it fishing and foraging?
Is it fishing and... I don't know. I'm confused now.
We need help.
Triple F.
Triple F?
Triple F with East Coast Trev.
Yeah.
Oh.
Blooper.
Oh, it's that one.
Next. Blooper.
That's me. Foraging and Fishing Fun with East Coast Trev. First, I want to take a moment of silence for a good friend, Joseph Gorowski of Adolf Meats here in Connecticut. So, Joseph, who owns Adolf Meats here in New Britain, Connecticut, recently passed away by falling off a dock in Norwalk, Connecticut, and was never to be found. So he's a big part of the industry here in Connecticut. He personally has made a ton of meats for us, our hot dogs, our kielbasa. We send all of our ducks to him. He's one of a kind. He's got a heart of gold. I mean, you go there to drop something off, and you'll be there for hours drinking with him and eating fresh meats. So definitely in our thoughts and prayers.
Amen.
So for foraging and fishing fun, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and New York reefs are loaded with cow stripers, and the bite is on fire. Snapping parachute jigs and three-weighing eels and bucktails is out of control. Bottom fishing is red hot. Fish are in a feeding frenzy. That's porgies, black sea bass, fluke, you name it. On the bottom, it's on fire. There's bait everywhere, and the fishing is great. Bluefish are making an appearance, spotty in some areas, as D-Rock would know, recently catching a bunch of bluefish here in Connecticut, down in the Western Sound. Offshore tuna and shark bite is starting to be underway. More and more reports are coming in day by day, and some really big fish. Also, to add to that, a recent friend of mine, Dustin Monsell, sent me a picture of 3 giant great white sightings offshore where they could still see Montauk and Block Island. So I would say 5 to 10 miles away, and there was 3 of them, and they were over 20 feet.
Damn.
Yeah, they were giants. Some of the biggest whites I've ever seen.
I'll show you big white. With a little spice.
That's a white brown.
Yeah, it's a little frijole.
Yeah.
It's a little jumping thing. But maybe Ryan the porn star might have something big for you, senor.
Okay. So, anyways, for freshwater news, the channel cat fishing is underway. Some really good reports and pictures coming in from all over, even the Midwest, East, everywhere. Everyone's catching some giant catfish at this time. Also, in freshwater ports, a good friend, Greg Tubbs.
Better than catching crabs,
oh
yeah?
Oh, my God. I'm done. I'm turning your mic off. You're fucking everything up.
Welcome to having a segment.
There you go, Trev.
Jesus.
Wait until what? The next borderline crossing? The border crossing segment?
Yeah, I'm just going to put beep throughout the whole thing. So anyways, so Greg Tubbs from Wisconsin sent in a report that the Sheboying gang, the Sheboying
bang.
The Sheboying gang.
They fucked me up.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
No, you're doing good, man.
Sheboying to Door County have been really good salmon fishing. The Milwaukee has not been so hot. Also, the smallie fishing in the Connecticut River is absolutely on fire with some really good aggressive fishing. Also, the summertime walleye bite is getting underway. Also, we was talking actually with Greg Tubbs about that, using leeches on slip bobbers, both of our favorite techniques. So that's just a hint. But so get out there and make a report. And as always, as Ryan would say, send me your reports.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
I have nothing to say to that.
All right, good.
Damn, that's smart.
So, anyways, foraging, still tough picking for God's edibles. Some would say that there is some out there, but I'm not really sure. Haven't been out there, but they are far and few between. If you know anything about that, let me know on that also.
Actually, speaking about edibles and mushrooms, what's up, man? And what the fuck, Trev? I'm still waiting. My stag is next week.
I know, I gotta go picking. I'm sorry.
Shit. Nah, text your boy right now. I want to see you text your boy right now. I need it.
All right.
I need it.
All right. I'm on it.
All right. Well, I don't know about you. Let's get Zach from the Hunting Public.
I'm all about it. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Maybe D-Rock will stop talking.
No. So we're back on the line with Zach from the Hunting Public. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Zach. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you guys?
Good, man. Hey, just for my reference, how do I pronounce your last name? I didn't want to butcher it, so I want you to say it.
No. I was actually just thinking you never asked about that, and most people do. It's Ferenbaugh.
Ferenbaugh. See? Oh, man, I should have just tried.
You had it, D-Rock.
I did have it. You know, I just never want to say it wrong, and I want it said right the first time. So thank you. Zach Ferenbaugh from the Hunting Public. Welcome to the show, man. So happy to have you on.
Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Happy to have a conversation. I always like talking outdoors.
Hell yeah. That's what we're all about. So let's kick it off right, man. I mean, we got to do due diligence. Tell our listeners who you are, where you're from, and where we can find you.
All right, so I'm from Ohio originally. Grew up there, and then I went to college. I grew up in Western Ohio. Went to college in Southeast Ohio at Ohio University. Really started hunting a lot different types of public land down there. I've hunted public land since I was, probably 12 years old. I've been hunting since I was old enough to go squirrel hunting with my grandpa, which is probably like 4 or 5 years old. And then went through college and, hunted and partied mostly, but somehow managed to get out of there with a degree. And then when I got done with college, first thing I did out of college was I was an intern at Midwest Whitetail in 2015. Ended up getting hired full time, worked there, and then eventually just me and my buddies that I worked there with, we just kind of had different goals. And then Midwest Whitetail, it was just a kind of a different in interest, I guess. Like Bill, our boss, was more into the land management side of things, hunting in southern Iowa, and we just wanted to travel more and hunt more public land. And we decided to start the Hunting Public with kind of a goal of, for one, our main goal always is just, being relatable. We want to try to be relatable to, as many hunters as possible. And one of the ways that we wanted to do that was to travel to, as many different people's hunting situation and hunt, in their areas as possible. And one awesome outlet for that is just traveling and hunting public land. And, obviously, like, public land is important to us, so we want to try to, promote that and keep interest there. And we feel like one of the best ways to do that is just get more hunters and people in the outdoors, just getting as many people out there as possible. Like, whether that be to hunting, fishing, hiking, camping, whatever it may be, the more people that care about the land, the more people that are going to be there to stand up for it. And, I guess in a quick nutshell, we're looking to help people learn how to hunt from our success and failure, and, just trying to get more people interested in the sport to keep it alive.
Amen. Amen. And where can they find you on, like, social media platforms or even other platforms so they can see, like, your videos and stuff like that?
The Hunting Public is our YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We've got a podcast as well. All of those would be under the Hunting Public. And Amazon as well. We have videos there, but the biggest content things where we have the most stuff going up just really, really consistently are YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. And that's where the majority of the new content goes first. And we try to keep it, like, especially with YouTube, like, as current, well, obviously Instagram and Facebook too, but we try to keep YouTube videos as current as possible. So, like, while we're traveling and hunting public land, we have, our videos going up within a day or two, usually, of, like, the hunt. So we try to keep it realistic, semi-live, I guess, if you will, and just try to keep it current, keep it relatable to everybody's hunting situation at that time.
That's pretty dope. Do you guys ever, because YouTube offers it live, have you guys dipped into the live YouTube yet?
We do a lot of live podcasts on Facebook. That was kind of one of the first ideas we had, and it's funny to see how much it's evolved. But, like, we were talking about, we come back from hunting every day and we just sit down and, BS, and it's like we're all just talking about what happened anyway. Like, let's just start doing that, like, making that into a live podcast where people that are following along can just jump in and, pitch in their experience and their comments, questions, whatever. And it's become a really fun thing that we do. So, yeah, the live thing, and you can do that on our Facebook page, and that's a fun thing, like, to just interact. And, we pretty much just go down to the line and just talk about everybody's comments that leave any sort of, like I said, question or just general comment,
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's important too, to not only stay relatable, but, like, really engage with your audience. And I mean,
yeah,
I just wrote it in my notes. It's, I mean, at the end of the day, especially after a hunt, it's like you want to live stream so you could get to the Cussin and Discussin, right?
Yeah, right.
Shit.
Yeah, I mean, the another thing that's just important to us too, we want to be relatable, and we want everybody to remember, like, we're just like everybody else. Like, we we're interested in learning from. The reason we came up with the name The Hunting Public is because, like, it's kind of a play off of the general public, right? Like, we're all part of the hunting public. So, like, it's not just, the hunting public is not just us. It's you, and it's a guy in California that hunts. It's a guy in Canada that hunts, you know, whatever it may be. Like, the hunting public is everybody that hunts, and, you know, we're all trying to learn together.
That's dope, man. I really, you know what? That's something in a different way. That's what we're doing, and we're on that same mission. But you guys are definitely well established, doing it right. I mean, I don't even want to get there quite yet, though, because we have a lot to talk about there. So let's take a little, like, right-hand turn. And sure. What are you sipping on right now? You cracking a beer with us right now, or what?
Yeah, I actually just finished it's a sour ale.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm a big IPA guy, big IPA and stout guy.
Word.
I just had that sour in there and thought, you know, well, really we have to go on a restock at some point here and get some more, but I just figured that seemed like the right one for a nice hot day.
Hell yeah. You know what? Yo, Zach, I mean, we're sponsored by Shabine Brewing, so this is to you. Shabine. And we dabble in everything. The three of us are actually heavily influenced into the brewing company that we put our input into the new upcoming beers. And they dabble in craft beers for everyone. So, I mean, after the show, we'll hook up with your address and send you some beer, man. Because they dabble from sours. The hottest beer right now out of the sours is the Guava Kush. I'm hooked. No. It's not that organic kind. You know? You can't smoke it, but you can drink it. And they go all the way to the stouts, too. I mean, they're all over the place. It's banging. Sweet. I'm actually having it at my wedding, so we're going to enjoy it at my wedding. I said our wedding, nice. But yeah, man. It's all about kind of, I mean, every hunter has their poison, right? Whether it be the organic kind or beer or even hard liquor. That's actually, since we're on the subject.
I'm a big whiskey guy.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. See, now you're talking our lingo. So after kind of like a big grueling harvest, right? Like if you're going to party, right? It's been a target buck that you finally pinned them down and you had them and you got your boys there at deer camp. What are you sipping on?
After we shoot something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not just anything though, but the one. You know what I mean? Something you've been chasing for maybe like a year or more.
Oh, I been mostly drinking IPAs and stouts, or I've been drinking. I just like whiskey neat. That's what I like.
Right. I'm down.
Really,
with that.
really like just pouring a little bit of whiskey, shot of whiskey in a glass, and just sipping on it. I do enjoy that.
Now, are you okay? You said neat, but do you sometimes dip the ice cube in it on a hot day, or you just keep it straight raw?
I used to a lot more when I first started getting into whiskey. Yeah, I would do a little bit of like little ice in it, but recently I've been going a lot more towards just having just straight. Like it's just I started drinking it with my uncle, and he drinks it straight. So it's just something that kind of it turned into, I guess. That's the way I want it now. Occasionally, like if I'm out at a bar or something and it's hot, or there's a lot of people, I'll still get it with ice. But if I have a preference, definitely just neat.
Word. I'm on that Elijah Craig right now.
What's that?
Elijah Craig. It's a bourbon whiskey. Yeah, that's my go-to.
Yeah.
When the boys here want to cheer me up, they make sure that's in the freezer because I drink it neat as well. But the best way to have it is like keeping it in the freezer. So you pour it neat and then you just kind of sip it and you go along with it. It's a transition. It's kind of like hunting. I mean, not to correlate everything to hunting, but I mean that's the way it is. It's like you go through the transitions and the phases. It's like it's relatable. It's relatable.
Yeah, no, I really with the whiskey, the biggest thing is like here's my tip for those that are not for it. When you're like young and you get a hold of like something that's like liquor, you don't want to base everything off of those memories, because those memories are generally dark and involve a lot of
and very vague.
Involve a lot of throwing up. It's not all about that. Like if you can revisit it and you can go into it and just go into it easy, like spirits are a different thing. They're not beer. You can't just chug them. You can't just do shots all the time, or you're having similar experiences. But like, if you just casually drink something and learn how to drink it correctly, it is really good stuff. And you can also just have a drink and not be totally wasted. It's definitely a thing. You can have a drink at the end of the day. It's a good, solid drink. But I think everybody just associates liquors with just being way too drunk, and that's not what it's all about.
Yeah, you said it best, man. It's all about learning. No, seriously though, you said it best. It's all about learning the drink and acquiring not only the taste but the attribute to the drink, because it's about enjoying the drink, not getting wasted. So,
isn't that what college is for?
Yeah, that's what college is for, the learning lesson, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. I'm past the point of just wanting to be wasted. Like that was back when I was at OU. Done with that. I just want to have a drink and enjoy it. And,
yo, Zach, I have a question, man. Because
nightcap.
Yeah, it's all about that nightcap. I like that actually. But I have a question about OU. Is one of my mentors, since you went there, Andy Katzenmoyer. You must be familiar with him.
No, I don't think so.
Come on, man. That's Ohio Buckeye State, the linebacker that went pro.
What's the name?
Andy Katzenmoyer.
Andy? No, I don't. Are you saying OS? Is that Ohio State University or Ohio University?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I stand corrected. It's Ohio State. Yeah.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, see, we're down in the hills, down in southern Ohio. That's where I went to school, Ohio University.
All right, so Mimal, my bad. That's my B right there.
Good. It's good.
So I grew up in the football realm, and Andy Katzenmoyer was one of my idols and actually mentors. And growing up, it's obviously he was huge. Went into NFL. And he was a hunter as well, so that's where we kind of connected. But man, it's just cool to hear that someone like yourself, especially, the hunting public primarily represents the Midwest hunting style. Shabeen burp. So your group, anyways, primarily represents the Midwest hunting style. But this is something I wanted to bring up, because Ohio is like what Ryan touches on and calls it. It's the Middle Eastern style, of hunting, because it's that transition when you go from East Coast to Midwest, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I've actually thought about that a lot. There is a line in Central Ohio that it becomes, that more Midwest farm ground, and then the eastern part of the state kind of transitions to that, more hard, solid hardwood type habitat, and there's definitely two different sides of Ohio, but I'm partial to that eastern, but yeah, I would that's the best way to put it. It's the beginning of the transition.
Hell yeah! So you got a little East Coast flavor, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I like to think that I'm more of an Eastern hunter than a Midwestern hunter. Let's put it that way. That's the rep I want to hold, at least.
Hell yeah! Is that where the long hair came from?
my long hair comes from just wanting to just piss people off and do different stuff. You know, when I was
Hell
a kid,
yeah! Hell yeah! You're on the right podcast for that, man.
When I was younger, playing football and stuff, I was just cracked up like at all the old guys telling me that I needed to get a haircut and stuff like that. It's like, man, whatever. I just like, just if you keep telling me that, I'll just keep doing something different. So
that's why that shit is long as fuck.
What's that?
That's why that shit is long as fuck right now.
Yeah, right. And I think they kind of that whole mentality is comes to play. I'm sure if we get into any type of in-depth hunting strategy talk, like you'll see that a lot of what we do as a group and why we kind of all of our mentality is that we just love doing something different than what everybody else is doing. We like trying to break molds and think outside of the box as far as how do we do something different, and how do we keep improving really instead of just doing the same things over and over.
Amen. So since you're talking about that and your crew and what you guys bring to the table, let's break it down, man. Who's your crew in the hunting public? Please say names and locations where they're from.
Yeah. So I guess it started originally with Aaron Warbriton, Greg Clements, and myself. And I guess we were the ones technically like we're the owners of the company. And Aaron is from northern Missouri. That's where he grew up and hunted. And we all have very similar backgrounds as far as like just hunting with friends, family. Our dad and grandpas are big influences for all of us and helped us get into the outdoors. But Greg is then from far eastern Nebraska. And then Jake and Ted also work with us. Jake was with us from pretty much the beginning there. Well, literally the beginning there. Jake's from southeast Wisconsin. Again, same. We all have like our backgrounds are all so similar. It's crazy as far as like how we got into it and who our influences were. And then Ted is from northeast Iowa, so he's about 2.5 hours from where we reside in Iowa right now. And then next fall or this coming fall, we're gonna have two different guys with us. One guy's gonna be from Southwest. They're gonna be like interns for us, and they're gonna be one's from Southwest Wisconsin, and another is he's from Ohio originally. He lives in Texas now, so should be a fun season.
Yeah, that's a good spin right there.
Yeah. So we got kind of guys from a lot of different areas, a lot of different habitats, but like our backgrounds are very, very similar. We all grew up hunting, family property or, permission and, small family property, small permission, and then a lot of public land. So, our hunting backgrounds are almost identical really, and it makes it pretty fun because we're all very like-minded and, we hold each other accountable to like try to break out of our own shell. Like it's fun, and we do a great job working together, and it's honestly like it's like the dream come true.
Amen.
When you think about it.
Yeah, living that dream, man. So let's cut into your kind of quote unquote recent promotion. You're in charge of your podcast now. Mm-hmm. And let's dip into why or how that came to fruition.
Well, simple as like I just like to talk. I like to have conversations. I my whole life I've just been a talker. People kind of like it's an ongoing joke with my friends. Like Zach just never shuts the hell up. So
nothing wrong with that in the podcast
just
realm.
Just kind of comes. What's that?
Nothing wrong with that in the podcast realm. No, it's like this is the guy to talk to then.
Yeah. Conversations just always been fun to me, and I like hunting strategy too. You get talking about that, and I guess like I like going into conversations, and also just like I like challenging conversations too, like, you know, where stuff's like, you know, maybe all the points that, you know, especially with hunting, is like maybe we don't necessarily agree completely, but like let's talk about it. Like, let's see what you're thinking and let's see what I'm thinking, and, you know, figure out what, I guess, yeah, like figure out what is why, you know, there's a difference in opinion there, a difference in strategy, and I think that's really fun.
Okay, since you bring that up, I mean, shit, I have a certain outline, but I never follow it. But let's really dip into that really hard. If you were to, let's say, hunt Ohio, which is it's actually, let's say, more eastern Ohio, right? Which is very similar to our hunting style. How would your approach be in the sense of you're already scouted, right? And you know these mountain goats are staying on the ridge line. And I mean, in Connecticut we have mountain laurels, but out in Ohio, I know it's more like thickets of like prickle bushes.
Yeah, monoflower rose is the big one out there. Autumn olive, shit like that.
So if you were to hunt Ohio or an East Coast style, because it's very similar, man. It's very similar. I was out there with Garrett the Modern Assassin and Keith Chirac from Tattooed in the Wild. It's very, very comparable to East Coast, 100%. Your approach, now, if you were to go in early season, how would your approach be as far as entrance? Because this is big for, like, we cater to new hunters and older hunters that kind of, you know, life smacked them in the face and they're trying to get back into it. How would you approach entry, let's say, early season?
I have a fairly unique style as far as that goes. I like to hunt like on the fly. I don't like to have too much, you know, in my head before I go in. I like to go in and feel it out as based off of sign, you know. I think one of the problems that I guess one of the things that I would do too much and kind of kick myself for looking back at past hunts and just past seasons in general, it's like I would go into these areas that I maybe had scouted before, which I still think is very important, but I would have scouted them before, thing up in my head that, like, you know, maybe I scouted in March, for example, and I saw tons of rubs in this area, you know, lots of what I thought was, you know, bedding that I thought I knew when the bedding was being used. I saw scrapes, whatever. You make up in your head this time frame when all that is being laid down. And especially when you're hunting public land, factors change so much with hunting pressure, you know, maybe logging in some areas. I mean, truly, the list goes on and on. Factors change on public land because you're not controlling anything. You know, it's all up to, you know, everybody else, essentially. You're just playing in the game of it. So I like to go in to areas. I like scouting places still, don't get me wrong, but I look back on areas or you know, times, and I just think I made this time frame up that was the right time to be in there. I dove in there at that time, and then, you know, I was wrong, and I didn't see anything. But then, you know, maybe I come back a couple weeks later, and it's like it's on fire. Well, instead of wasting that time, that first time, just hunting, you know, this idea that I had beforehand, I like to go into areas and just check them. You know, it's like, okay, is this spot hot or is it still dead? You know, I want to hunt the hottest stuff, like, right now. I don't want to wait around. I don't want to miss an opportunity by going into an area and just sitting there and, like, not actually, you know, being aggressive and trying to find where the deer are currently. You know, I hate the idea of this. Like, going up to a bedding area, getting, you know, 100 yards from it and then setting up and then, you know, not seeing anything.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Because when you do that, then, you know, like, if I would have just went, you know, maybe 30 30 more yards, then I would have seen that the sign was not fresh coming out of that bedding area. And maybe you get to the end of your shooting lane, 30 yards, and you realize that no deer are walking down that trail anymore.
Right.
Or not at that time of the year. So as far as an approach, what I like to do is I like to have bedding areas that I want to check. So for example, it's day one of a I'm going to go hunt anywhere in the east. I'm going to on the map, I'm going to pick, let's say 10 different areas. I'll look at 10 different spots, and I'm going to say, okay, these are the access points I need to check as soon as I get there. So let's say I'm on a 7-day trip. It's the easiest way to kind of break this down.
Right.
On a 7-day trip, I've got 10 spots in mind. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get to the property that I'm going to hunt, that public area, and I'm going to hit the 10 spots in my car. Because first thing you got to do is you got to get a feel for the area. Things are going to change, too, of what you can see on a map and, what are there in real life. Maybe you're dealing with, some sort of clear cut. Maybe you're dealing with, factors are going to change. You just got to get that road scouting in first. So, if I can do that in half a day, that's ideal. You just try to cover a bunch of ground and really get an idea of, what are the access points like? What are the access trails like? Once you got that base, you've potentially even eliminated areas or found new areas. But now that you know what those 10 spots are like, or maybe you've eliminated a couple, let's just say you've been like, okay, 2 of those, there's people hunting those places like crazy. That place is overrun. I got to get out of here. The next thing is now you've got 8. So the next 2 or 3, 4 days, however long it takes, I'm going to bounce into those 8 areas and check the sign. And if the sign's hot, then there's deer in there. If it's really hot, I'm not even going to keep going. I'll just set up on it or, keep hunting my way through it. But as far as breaking that down, you're just taking a big picture. The hard part about hunting public land or big areas in general is you're taking a big acreage and you're shrinking it down to 20 yards to shoot a deer with a bow. So,
and I don't mean to interrupt, but it really boils down to sign, because you need to be open, that open book to any type of sign, whether it be deer sign, human sign. You need to be open to that, because that is a factor in every step of the way.
Everything boils down. It really does boil down to sign every time, because places can look good on a map. A funnel could be the greatest funnel in the world. I mean, every critter in the world could have to go through that one spot. But if there's no sign there, then don't hunt it, and it's
exactly.
It may be the greatest looking bedding area. It may have all kinds of diversity on a map, but if they're not there, they're not there. And you don't always have to necessarily understand why they're not there at that exact time, but don't sit on it just because it looks pretty in there. How many times have you heard a guy say, oh man, it just looks so good in here. It's who cares if it looks good? I want to hunt a place that is good. I want to hunt a place where all the deer are.
Amen,
so
man.
I'm ultimately always just looking for the most deer sign that I expect to be in that area. Everybody has in their head that area that just looks good, because of the sign. It just looks good because it's man, there's scrapes, rubs, fresh tracks, basically fresh sign everywhere. It's that's what I'm looking for every time, and I won't settle for anything less. And I think that puts you in the game so quickly. Now, there's a lot of subtleties that go along with that, obviously, but in a broad sense, I'm moving. I'm not sitting. I'm not going in and setting up ever first thing. I'm moving first thing.
That's the way to be, though. Being mobile.
Yeah.
That's being mobile. And you know what? You bring up a really good point, but not to change the subject a bit, but what are you primarily hunting with deer? I mean, I can only imagine, obviously, the longer season. You must be bow hunting most of the time until it becomes rifle or shotgun season, yeah? Or muzzleloader.
Yeah, I hunt with everything. I mean, if it's in season and I'm in that state, obviously I I'm not biased. Well, not necessarily, obviously, but I'm not biased to any weapon. But
what is your favorite though?
I don't know. I guess I've had more success bow hunting. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I'm a big gun hunter. I love gun hunting. But I just, I hunt a lot of public land, obviously, and gun season's the public land. The pressure is pretty high, and we've had our opportunities, but we're always trying to film. And sometimes, well, really lately, the filming aspect has kind of messed us up pretty dramatically the last couple of years. But I've had more success with the bow.
So
lately,
what's that telling you, bruh?
What's that? That I like bow hunting better?
Yeah, I mean, shit. If you're getting more success with bow hunting, I'm no one to say anything of anyone being successful, but I mean, if you're getting more success out of the bow, I mean, shit. Focus on that,
Well, yeah, and I mean, I think part of it too is that there's just so much longer of a season, really, and we essentially start September 1st and hunt until middle of January with a bow, and then here and there's some gun seasons. So
same here.
I mean, really, ultimately, I would say I like all hunting exactly the same. I think I've just lately I've had some better luck bow hunting, but at the same time, it's like really. I think it's just a few things have clicked. And I think some things have clicked too with gun hunting. It's just a matter of like actually getting the damn camera on the deer and me being unable to pull the trigger. That's been the problem the last couple of years. But it's a long season, and I like every weapon. I don't know that I really don't know that I could just say bow, because I do love gun hunting. But with that being said, I mean all those strategies kind of stay the same, whether it's early season, late season, whatever. I really just want to hunt where the deer sign is. And it sounds silly, but like once you start doing it and you kind of start moving around and being mobile, you start realizing that you did, waste some time.
Yeah.
Setting up on less than ideal spots,
Well, absolutely, Zach, and that actually brings it down to one of Fred Bear's 10 Commandments: is hunt where the deer are, not where you imagine them to be.
Yeah, is that actually is that one of his 10 Commandments?
Absolutely,
it is.
Yeah.
100%.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he really is the best at it. So.
I think that too many people seem to like try and make the deer where they actually aren't, and they kind of waste away their season doing that. And I'm definitely one to point a finger at when it comes to that, because I've done that multiple times and ruined a season because of it. You're just like, I've seen these deer here. Why aren't they here? And then like a food changes or whatever, and you're like, I know this big buck is going to come through here, and then you just waste half your season chasing this deer that's never going to show up there, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny thing that like, and I honestly I blame a lot of it on hunting media and where hunting media comes from.
Yeah.
I was thinking of like something that, like, just, well, we can loop back to it to a certain degree, but I was thinking earlier of things like you mentioned something about like what rattles your antlers or something, and maybe you don't want to dive into that yet, but here's I guess here might be it. I might give it away.
A prequel. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like I feel that hunting media, and most of it stemming from, the big buck states where there's a low hunting population and low hunting pressure. It makes things very unrealistic to the majority of hunters, and I think one of the most unrealistic thing is a guy hunting in southern Iowa on a big food plot, telling you to sit back and wait. I really don't know that much about hunting, or I don't know that much about your guys' situation, but I can almost guarantee that isn't your hunting situation. That's something that's for you guys. How many people own, a couple thousand acres and can sit on a 1 acre standing bean field in late season and hope the bucks come to them. Like that's just not a realistic thing. And I sadly, most of hunting media is coming from things like that, and it's just not realistic. It's just not what's happening to most people. But because that's what's out there to tell you how to hunt, you start to believe that, or a lot of people start to believe that. And I think that's such a huge, really big pet peeve of mine.
You know what? And you definitely strike a chord there, because this is why we are this platform, is to really showcase the East Coast for what it is. I mean, we don't have much ag field out here. I mean, the deer we're hunting are mountain goats. And if Trev is, how tall are you? 6'2"? 6'1"?
Yeah, 6'1".
6'1", 280.
80.
Damn, really?
Yeah.
Shit. I was going to say 260, but
well,
damn.
Normally, but I had too many craft beers over the winter, so.
Thank you, Shabine.
I'll be back to 260 about hunting season.
Yeah, so 6'1", 280, and he's climbing mountains with us. And, he might straggle behind and be out of breath, but at the same time, that's what it takes to get into position for these mountain goats. And
actually, I'm going to stick up for myself for a second there, because I don't really have to catch my breath. I'm so used to it by the end of the season.
Well, I mean, Ryan and I hear it. Once we're at the top of that mountain.
We need to call Mark and ask him. He'll tell you.
Oh, I think he could attest.
Right,
but the point being is, it's definitely a super different style of hunting. And if we do hunt in ag field, guess what? We're like deep into the woods, where the transition goes out of the farm and back into the woods.
Right.
So it's totally different style of hunting. And I mean, you know what? This brings me to my next question: is where do you prefer to hunt? Is it like the West, the Midwest, the East? Like what's your preference personally?
I think early season, like September, I would definitely say I would prefer to hunt west. I just like hunting open ground, and I also like, west as far as like even west of Iowa. Like you're really almost, your Great Plains type states. I really liked hunting. In the last 2 years, I've hunted Nebraska early season in early September, and like I really, really enjoy that. But a lot of eastern states other than like Maryland don't even have an opener by September 1st. So, I guess Kentucky does also, but that's a big east to west state. But once the rest of the season hits, I mean, I enjoy. I don't really at this point. I feel like it's. With Iowa, my relationship is like kind of love-hate. It's like a big part of me is like, I've been there, done that. I'm ready to do other stuff. But at the same time, I mean, it is still fun to hunt. And don't get me wrong. I don't want to like downplay that too much where it's like, it's not like I hate it, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I feel like I understand how to hunt, late October and November in Iowa. So I'd rather go, hunt states like Ohio or Pennsylvania. I think we're going to try Michigan at some point this season. I really, really, really want to hunt New York. Like New York is easily top 3 of states I really want to hunt. So.
Like upstate New York?
So around the Finger Lakes, just generally speaking, it's mountainous.
An abundance of deer.
There's a shit ton of deer there for sure, like a ton. But I guess what gets me about New York is, well, a lot of those eastern states is I don't want anybody listening to take this the wrong way, but I feel like eastern states they love to complain, man. They just love to complain about like how tough it is, and like. Well, I'm not gonna disagree that it's tough. Like it's still possible. I know it's possible because I hunted Southeast Ohio a lot, so I've got a lot of experience there. And in that aspect, but I also have done a lot of hunting or scouting while I turkey hunt, and like I know that there's big bucks everywhere. You know, even if I've never hunted a state, it's like, yeah, you can tell they're here. Like they're here. It's just you gotta really work for it. You know, and I think that's the thing that excites me about those eastern states the most. Is like you guys mentioned, you gotta work for it. And you have to. Like you can't just get lucky very often.
As WCB quotes it, you can't trip until 150. Quote unquote Austin Chandler out of the Midwest there. But yeah, so Zach, if you really want to dabble into the eastern states, you know a few guys that could put you onto it now. Because we keep that top secret. And Trev and Ryan were both like, because we have a rule here in the podcast jam, it's like if they have something urgent to say, they have to raise their hand. So this way we know that they have something to say. So we'll start with Trev right here.
I was just telling Trev to put his hand higher. That's all I was doing.
No, but honestly, I think you hit the nail on the head with the complaints of the guys in the East, because they just don't want to put that work forth to do what they need to do to kill a big buck. They want it like that Midwest style, when it's kind of like, I mean, you guys have like the wooded draws in between the ag fields and so on and so forth, so it's a little bit easier to pinpoint those deer. With like the East Coast, like you have to hike miles, or you have to put in your time, like you were saying with your strategies of scouting, like driving around and doing that. And guys, they just don't want to do that. They're kind of like stuck in that style of like, oh, this is my grandpappy's stand and I want to sit here and this is where I'm going to sit. And they don't, like the mobile hunting has started to catch on here, but you're right. They just complain that like, oh, there's no big deer out here, and they just want to go out west where it's easy. They don't want to put forth that effort.
Well,
and little do they know, though, the big deer. I mean, not to bring it back to anything in past episodes, but the big deer are hiding in the most local spots that is so insane. If you just take the time to put in the work. And
you have to be open-minded in deer hunting. You have to think outside of the box, especially if you're hunting pressured areas. And I will say one thing, like even hunting Iowa, if you don't know what the hell you're doing, you're not just going to come in and you're not going to just walk in there and shoot a 150 on public land. You're not. If you come in thinking it's going to be easy, you're going to get your ass handed to you. There's a lot of stuff that fortunately we live in Iowa, so like we get a ton of time to scout it and stuff. But at the same time, it's like, it seems easier, but like there's a lot of people that talk to us and man, I went there and I thought there was a corner and there's not. It's the same thing in every city. Now there are more defined movements sometimes in Iowa, but like at the same time, you have to be able to understand. You have to be able to think outside of the box. You have to be able to do something different than what everybody else is doing. And like you mentioned earlier, like hunt your happy stand or whatever. It's like like so many hunters are doing that. They're just doing the same thing as the last generation, the same thing as the next guy, 150 yards down the ridge. And when you're doing that, no matter where you're at in the country, you're not going to kill anything. You're not going to kill a mature buck. And I mean, that's another pet peeve of mine. And it's not something that like really, it's not like it makes me mad. It
rattles your antlers. I know.
It just upsets me. It just upsets me because it's like, people like to complain and poor me when they're the one that has to change. Right. You have to be the one to make the change.
So I don't mean to like bring it here, but I mean you guys are, you as a group, the hunting public, are practically living that RV life, right? Like it's all on the road, nothing but vehicles and camping out a lot, right?
Yeah, I mean we're travel hunters, so we get ourselves into some pretty strange situations, I would say. And I think, you either love it or you hate it. It's like if you don't like being uncomfortable, and if you don't like sleeping sometimes and being like, well, this is, if I could rate this on a 1 to 10, it's a 4 or 3. You're not going to enjoy doing that type of stuff. But we love doing it, and you get yourself into some weird situations, some weird camping situations, but it's all part of the fun for us.
So what is though? And you know what? I hate to say I'm kind of biting off of our boy from the Modern Assassin, because he's working on a few projects himself out of Maryland, and all the credit goes to him. What is the weirdest shit you ever seen in the woods?
All right, well, not seen in the woods, but do you want to hear the funniest camping story?
Let's hear it.
Okay, so this is like one of the first trips that I was ever on. I was in a national forest in Mississippi turkey hunting, and we went to sleep that night, and it was me, Aaron. This is back when we were still working at Midwest Whitetail, and we were actually producing videos for Spring Thunder through Cabela's. So it was like kind of our previous turkey project, I guess. We went to hunt public land, national forest, Mississippi. We were camping on in that national forest, as well as most national forests, you can camp wherever. So we were camped at like the end of a turnaround, like a cul-de-sac, And we were sleeping in a tent, and we went to sleep that night. And it was me, Aaron, and then our friend Zach, another Zach. And Zach brought his shotgun into the tent. It's like what the hell, man? Like nobody's gonna come back here. You know what I mean? Like that was my mentality, So then I was like, I kind of joked with him. I kind of picked on him because it's like we're in the middle of nowhere. Like you can't even hear the road, So, the paved road. So we go to sleep, and some time goes on, and gets to be about 2 a.m, and I was the last to wake up in this situation, but all of a sudden I wake up to lights shining in the tent, in an engine, like a diesel engine, just, idling. And I realize that there's a truck that is pulled up, like, right beside our tent, right beside it. And I wake up and I look over and everybody's awake. Aaron and Zach are awake. And Zach's got his gun up, just in his, at his side. And, so just kind of silent, just silence aside from this loud-ass truck just idling. And to this day, I'm not really sure what this guy meant by saying this, or what was going on in his head at this point in his night. But he just goes, "Y'all drinking beers? You fucking pussies," and then just revved it up. They just spun and just kicked dirt and gravel all over her tent, and just heard him drive down the road for just had that engine just opened up, driving through that national forest. And to this day, I have no idea what that guy meant by that, but to this day, we still get a kick out of that story.
you know what was that line again? Can you quote it? For us?
Yeah. It said, "Y'all drinking beers, you fucking pussies." And no, I have no idea. I have no idea what that meant, but it was pretty funny.
Oh man,
that's a way to start it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then they just left. So I don't know if they were mad that we were hunting in their area or what, or they saw non-resident tags and were mad about that. But man, whew, it definitely made you uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And that was literally the first night. I guess technically that would have been the first night that I'd ever been on an out-of-state camping trip. Out-of-state hunting camping trip.
Yeah.
So totally weird.
How many?
But
how many times?
We just kept doing it, and here I still am doing it. However much longer later,
How many times did you say that quote while you were hunting that trip?
Oh, dude. We just kept saying, "Y'all drinking beers?"
Yeah.
So funny.
That's one of those classic things that you never forget ever, as long as you live.
The funniest part about hunting stories like that, and exactly what you just called it out. How many times do you say exactly that funny thing that happened or a weird thing, like you quote it, you know, like how many times have we quoted that in our life? Every time I see Zach, the first thing that he says is, "You been drinking beers?"
You know what? I can't wait to shake hands with you, and that's exactly what I'm going to say. but I'll hand a shebeen to you. You know,
so funny, like such a funny thing to like have as your first night, like, you know, camping in a new area. This is like, man, because I remember we went to bed that night. We all had our guns in there, like, you know, just kind of nervous. Like, who knows what's going to happen? But nothing
you don't
else
know.
happened the rest of the trip.
You're in
and,
Mississippi.
You know, really, we've never had any of that, like, anybody trying to, like, intimidate us or anything since then. You know, it's just like it was just one of those weird situations where, you know, there's somebody apparently out drinking too many beers and just figured they'd try to mess with the people coming to visit their area.
Shit.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. I mean, shit.
Banjo.
Well, not even just that. I mean, I'm in the hood. Every room in my house has some kind of blade in it. And, I mean, almost every room in my house.
That's because you're Mexican.
Well, we like to shank. We like to shank.
Us white folk got the guns.
Well, I'm just saying, Trev opened, we went into my garage. I'm like, I really got to put these in a better place. And he's like, those are all guns? I'm like, yes, all guns. It's like, it's just one of those things, man. I mean, we could definitely all relate to that same. But that same segment, it's not even our segment. I have to really express, this is Garrett Benner, the Modern Assassin segment, Weird Shit in the Woods. That's his, and I give credit to him because, you know what? That's a really good topic that is his that I haven't heard. I may be mistaken, but I haven't heard it anywhere else. And he's we're going to hear about him more because podcasts are becoming more and more popular. I want to say that this is something I want to dive into, actually, Zach, because podcasts are becoming more and more popular, obviously. Everyone feels like they could podcast about anything. And, I mean, virtually, it's that possible, but it really boils down to where you want to cater to your audience.
It's your niche, right? Everybody has to have a niche or it's not going to be successful.
Correct. So I kind of want to wrap back into not only why you're kind of running the hunting public, but I mean, all right, let's boil down to this. What was your most memorable podcast to date? Not because of the person, but because of the value of the episode. Can you elaborate a little bit on that one episode?
Yeah, the one that I remember the most, and it honestly, I can, but we're gonna backtrack it a little bit to like we were still at Midwest Whitetail and we had started a podcast, and Aaron and I, we've just always been, we've always had the mentality that the hunting public has is like we're learning together, right? So, everybody's got their experience and we can all learn from everybody's experience. And we were doing a podcast. We'd started one at Midwest Whitetail, and we did a podcast with a guy who's actually in New Jersey. You guys would have a hell of a time podcasting with him. His name's Greg Glitzinger.
The Bowhunting Fiend. Shout out to him.
Fiend,
yeah, we're very familiar with Jersey boy Greg.
Yeah, I actually saw that. Like he follows you guys on Instagram earlier today, but
he's a good dude, man. He's a really good dude.
Yeah, I love talking to Greg, but I was on Instagram one night and I realized that he hunted to where he set up on top of buck beds, and like at the time I thought that was crazy, and I talked to him and Aaron and I talked to him and did a podcast with him like a couple days after I found him and on Instagram. And watched some of his YouTube videos, and to this day, I mean, that'll always be a moment in time where like a light bulb clicked as far as like taking that aggressive hunting mindset one step further.
Word.
And then
East Coast.
And then he turned. he turned us on to Dan Infalt, and then that spiraled into like this whole like kind of underground community of aggressive, bed hunters, and that was the Hunting Beast forum, So like all of a sudden we went from like feeling like we were hunting aggressively to like knowing the specifics of why we were hunting aggressively, and like we just started, because I remember after we talked with Greg that night, like Aaron and I stopped and we were like, holy shit, like this all makes sense. And like I mean, for hours we just were like, in this situation, that buck would have, that would have made sense for him to be bedded here, when we saw him here. And then like, I mean, that night stuff just clicked. And I guess for the value, at least for us personally, like that to me will always stick out as like a whoa moment of like, I can't believe, the value that holds. I guess it's like it's such a crazy moment.
Hey man, and that's all we're trying to like really push out of here, out of the East Coast, is like East Coast hunting is definitely very different, and it doesn't take away from either Midwest or even Western hunting. It's just every area has its own niche. And, for sure. And we all have big bucks to offer. It's like it's not one more than the other.
Well,
like,
and one thing I'll point out real quick too that I meant to mention earlier, and I don't think that I have, is like if you can keep it real as far as like I think sadly there's this weird like human thing that happens that like humans want to make everything a competition, right? And like, unfortunately, the competition has turned into like scoring your stupid antlers. That's so stupid to me. And I don't want people to. I also don't want people to be offended and like their feelings to be hurt when I say that. But like, I don't give a shit about what your deer scores. I really don't. Like, I really could care so less. So like, when I hear a lot of southeastern, eastern. We talk to a lot of guys in the Southeast because we love turkey hunt down there. We deer hunt down there. Like we're going to continue to do that. But we hear a lot of them say, yeah, you're never going to kill a 160. It's like, dude, I don't give a shit if I kill a 160. Like if that's what I did, I'd never leave Iowa. I'd hunt Kansas and Iowa always.
Right.
It's like, so, it's like, I that's something I don't care. So as long as you keep the you got to keep the perspective realistic. I mean, if in your area the best buck you can kill is a 2.5-year-old buck, then like shoot that thing every time he walks 20 yards past your stand broadside. Don't think about it. And I think it's just like they all have their differences, but like at the end of the day, yeah, every state's got big bucks for their area. I mean, hell yeah, they do. I mean, even if that buck's a 1.5-year-old buck, if he's the biggest, oldest one out there, then that's what I'm after, and I don't give a shit. Like, I'm hunting him, and I'm gonna hunt him like just the same that I do, the 7-year-old buck in Iowa, and I'm going to have just as much fun doing it because it's not, antlers isn't what it's about for me, and in my opinion, shouldn't be about what it's about for anybody.
Amen, man. And Zach, on that note, just in case you are in the East Coast and you do bang a banger, I am your local Pope and Young and Boone and Crockett measurer. So I thought that would be a funny twist to what you just said. And you know what? The only reason that I really kind of put myself out there in that aspect, because I'm the same way, man. I don't hunt for the antler size.
Well, just because you're a measurer, I don't think that I don't think that that's what you're all about. I think but there is a mentality though behind that, and it's a thing that like it's weird to me as hunters and as humans in general. Like, you got to turn everything into a competition, and I think if you want to turn it into a competition, make it about you and the animal. You
know what? I just really want to piggyback off of what you're preaching right now, because I'm definitely on your side with this. I know you are. The main drive, man. The main drive is because I want to get myself so intimately close with every type of species I'm gonna measure. You know what I mean? I get to see it firsthand. They're bringing it to me. I'm getting people out of state. I mean, the furthest state that I've gotten so far is what, Trev? Virginia now?
Virginia, yeah.
That's what I mean. I'm a Connecticut measurer. The only Pope and Young measure, the second Boone and Crockett measure, and I'm getting people out of state bringing it to me. It's like that's pretty dope. You know what I mean? It's like I'm getting animals from all over the world bringing it to me in Connecticut, like the armpit of New England. You know, it's like damn.
Right.
I have to agree with you there. Being a taxidermist is the same thing, and it's not about the big horns. I mean, yeah, I love the look on people's face when they shoot a big deer and they bring it to you and they're all excited about it. But those spike horns and fork horns and 6-pointers and 8 whatever, just the story that goes behind it and the person's excitement. Dude, I like relive the hunt, and I don't care what they shoot, and I don't care what I shoot, but like just the excitement that you see in the people, and I think that's something that's getting lost in this industry. Is like what you're saying is that everyone's after them big deer. Fuck that, man.
No,
I
it's the story.
Yeah, no.
The story.
Well, how about? Well, right. And it's like, I mean, this is also comes into play too. To me, it's like, you hear the guy talk about like, you hear the guys that live in the states where they're fortunate, you know, maybe whatever you want to call it, fortunate to hunt the bigger antler deer, and they say something like, "Yeah, he's 150. I thought he was 165 or whatever." It's like, dude, what? I mean, like that automatically just like to me that automatically just like your credibility just like goes out the window, because it's like you're not even caring about strategy anymore. All you care about is trying to like have the top score. Like, it's like, this isn't football. Like,
right.
Like, you didn't have the most like, yards rushing. Like, nobody cares. Like, that's not what this is about. It's literally about you and the game you're pursuing. And in my opinion, if it's anything more than that, if it's about score to you, like solely about score, then like to me that's disrespectful. Really.
And you're in the wrong game. Yep.
What about backstrap?
Well, no.
Let's start measuring some backstrap. Yeah.
You know what? That's something I could score, yeah. But you know what? Since we're dipping into this, what is your fantasy deer camp? Like, who's in your fantasy deer camp? Let alone, I mean, it could be anyone. It could be the boys you're hunting with now or someone you would add into the game. Like, who's your fantasy deer camp?
I think that's a really good question. I mean, I love if I could get just all my friends, like including the guys that, you know, I hunt with now, work with now, all my friends, my brother, my dad, my grandpas, you know, if I could get all those guys together in one place and just, you know, the people that, in my opinion, they care about it for the right reason, and then people that are interested in it for the right reason. It's as simple as that. Like, I get along with a lot of people, I think. So it's like, it's hard to say what the ideal camp would be, but I just having that like passion, having that, there's something, you know, the people that I really like hunting with, there's something a little bit different about them. And it's, I guess, that they just really love it, you know, and they're interested in it for what I think are, you know, the right reasons, as far as like just getting more people into it, you know, protecting areas that we have to hunt. And more people like that, the merrier. I don't care if it's, my hunting camp would be like hundreds of people.
That's dope.
Not just like 10.
That's
like,
dope,
get
man.
as many people out there. Let's get a huge piece of public land and let's run around on it and have a hell of a time.
Yeah, man. You could definitely tell. I mean, I get the vibe. We all get the vibe that you have a big heart, man. And on that note, I mean, Zach, have you checked on your boy Ben?
Yeah, I keep grabbing beers from him.
Okay, cool. So. You know, like I said earlier, I don't know if it was on the air or off the air, but us long-haired motherfuckers, we got to keep tabs on our women, man. You know what I mean? We get to pull them sometimes. It's like sometimes, not that our friends are being deceitful, but, you know, just like, hey, yo, what you doing?
Yeah, well, yeah, no, for sure. They're, you know, both of those two, you know, they're obviously both like my best friends. So, you know, they
Word.
You know, I'd assume they hit it off pretty well, and, you know, are probably just having a pretty goofy time in there. So
that's awesome.
I'm sure it's pretty funny.
Yeah. That's hard to find nowadays. So, but
yeah.
Who? This is a question that I ask often, because what I think we've loosened up to the point is like, who was your idol then versus your idol now? Because things change over time, man.
Yeah, for sure. I actually, at one point, I'll go through the stages. When I was a kid, it was my dad and my grandpa's and, and then my dad's buddies that I hunted at camp. I think that was always kind of my idols. So those are the guys that I looked up to. And then hunting media started, and I started looking into that too much. And really, what I started ended up doing is looking exactly what I'm preaching not doing, I did. And that's why I preach not doing it. And I looked at these guys from Iowa and who was on TV, and I started buying into that too much. And then, I started realizing later, hey, this isn't relatable, because I moved to Iowa was really the big thing. I realized that, hunting in Iowa and talking about these types of strategies are no longer relatable. So it ended up just turning back to a focus of more again, right now, the people that are my idols in hunting are pretty much the same people that started my idols as hunting. The only difference is in the middle there was kind of a more of a focus on hunting what I believe to be the wrong way now, because I was, buying too much into the media. And, me and all of the hunting public will admit that we all went through that at a certain point, that, we started to think that, that way is the right way. And, my dad hunting that way, that was silly. Why did he ever do that? But it's bullshit. My dad killed deer, big bucks doing these strategies. Why did I think that, because somebody from TV hunting in Iowa told me something, why should I believe that, not him? And I don't want other hunters to go through that.
That's actually,
don't believe what you see on the TV. It's not always what it. Don't be quick to believe that that's, the way it is, I guess.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense, man. That's really, really good piece of advice for life and outdoors, man. And I just want to take a quick left turn this time. It's going to be a hard transition, but,
sure.
Originally I wanted, you and Aaron on the podcast. And, in podcast land, this is coming out probably a couple weeks after the 4th of July, but in real time, this is day before, July 3rd. And Aaron couldn't make it, and I'm so gracious enough that you could definitely fulfill the podcast recording. So that being said, man, when Aaron said, "Hey, can you podcast tonight?" and it's almost like he let you know or didn't let you know, and then I hit you up before, and it's who the hell is East Coast Bowhunting Podcast? You know what I mean? Who the fuck are these guys? So why'd you decide? I guess my question is, why'd you agree to come on the show?
Simple answer. I just want to talk to everybody, man. That's it. It doesn't matter who you are. If you like hunting, we got a similar interest, and let's talk about it. It doesn't matter if two people will ever listen to a podcast that I jump on, or 200,000 listen to it. It doesn't matter to me. I just want to talk to everybody that likes hunting. We have a similar interest, and let's bullshit, So that's why. Pretty simple.
Amen. And on that note, what does it take to succeed as far as the content? So this way, anyone getting into the field, because we really preach unity, mainly being because there's so much room in this industry that a lot of people bring it to touch earlier on the podcast, is a lot of people bring it to a competitive level, and it doesn't have to be that way. It's there's so much room, because we are a very small group, the hunting community. And if we're going to really raise numbers, guess what? We really need to bring in different genres like podcasts together, even TV shows together, just so this way we could promote the same thing, which is the greater good, conservation.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, just give us a quick tidbit what it takes to succeed.
I mean, I guess in my opinion, I don't know that it's anything more than, you find, I guess it takes this in life, you find something that you love and you just go do it to the fullest. I mean, find a niche, find something that, interests you, that you can put a lot of effort into and that you love, and just go for it, man. Like, that's just, and be consistent and be, do whatever it takes, I guess, to get there. You're going to go through some uncomfortable times where, maybe you want to start a podcast. It's like, there's going to be times where, calling somebody up and being like, hey, can you join us? There's going to be times where that's uncomfortable. But, if you don't ever just go for it, you're never going to get it, And I think finding a niche, having the ability to be consistent and, just really going for it. That's really all that we ever did. And, I guess we're still doing it, and we're able to, do it full time. So I guess, I would consider it successful, but just always trying to improve, never get content either. It's just like with playing high school sports, it's like, if you want to be good, then you got to really work your ass off for it. So that's pretty simple. Just go for it.
Amen. And speaking about being uncomfortable, I mean, this day and age, this is what really sells and lets you be, cliche, not to sound cliche, but be real. So since you are on this platform and this is the place to be at, is do you have any hidden talents or something that maybe other people never heard before about Zach Ferenbaugh from the hunting public? There's got to be something that we don't know that you can disclose here.
Hidden talents. Man, I don't know. That's
maybe even something off the wall and weird that only maybe your girlfriend knows.
Oh, D-Rock, that's getting a little deep, bro.
I'm just saying. Well, no. This is coming from the porn star. He always likes to talk about deep, but no, not necessarily that realm. But just something off the wall.
I don't know. I would. Well, how about this? I got this. I mean, it's something off the wall. It's just a weird fact, and I think I put a lot of backing on how I ended up kind of being so outgoing, and to a certain degree. It's so growing up in high school, I was outgoing. I played football and baseball. I was real into sports, and I knew everybody. And then I went to college. And my freshman year of college, I was scared, just shitless. I was scared. I was holy shit, I'm in a different place. I'm uncomfortable. I'm so uncomfortable. And that was a real different point in my life where and yeah, I don't think I would say a lot of people don't know this. I don't even know that a lot of my friends know this. I was really, really uncomfortable. But, one day I just decided, hey, if I want to, continue to learn in life, I feel like I got to put myself into different situations, and I got to just, I got to be comfortable with them. I'm going to be uncomfortable, but I got to be comfortable with them. And I ended up, joining a fishing club, which I'm also a big fisherman. I joined a fishing club and was really uncomfortable at that. And it seemed silly, kind of, because it was I was always so comfortable, but all of a sudden I wasn't, because I didn't know anybody. I wasn't just in my comfort zone, I guess. And eventually just kind of broke out of that comfort. I was out of the comfort zone, met new people, and then, eventually I became the president of the fishing club, and then eventually went on to, do what I'm doing now, where, I talk to, a lot of people at one time when I make a video or whatever, do a podcast or whatever it may be. And it's at one point it was I could really care what people think about me and be like real worried about that all the time, or I could just be myself and like just deal with it. And I there was a turning point there when I was like 19 probably, and I just think, I mean, it may not be exactly the answer you're looking for, but like that really was something I guess I don't really tell a lot of people that. Like at one point I was real uncomfortable. It was just like it threw me off a lot to be in a different situation. And, I think it was a big turning point in my life to be like, hey, sometimes you're going to be put in uncomfortable situations, but like if you continue to be uncomfortable in them, then everybody's going to notice. But if you just be yourself and be comfortable, like nobody's going to give a shit and everybody's going to have a good time. And, I don't know.
No, Zach,
that was awesome. Hell yeah.
Yeah. You know what? You putting yourself out there and be vulnerable and letting us know about that is like, that's what we want to hear. So that is exactly the answer we were kind of like, I don't know, trying to get out of you in the sense of it's like, because you're on that, I mean, we see you as a successful platform. I mean, that's our opinion, and you're doing it the way that the viewers look at it, and to hear you being, not the, quote unquote human is, that's what it takes. And that's what will encourage everyone out there, especially here on the East Coast. So, I mean, that's beautiful, man.
Yeah. Well, good. 'Cause I mean, it's just, I feel like I look back on a lot and I think, man, that time was weird. And man, I was so scared, like I was so scared when I first went to OU. I was like all of a sudden out of my comfort zone. And it's like, it's silly. It seems silly now because it was so minor compared to like, the situations I feel like I put myself into now. But like, at the time it was such a big deal and it was like, it was so intimidating. And, I think, at the end of the day, it's really not. It's really, I mean, it was the time, but like, you just got to break. You just got to go for stuff. You got to do it, or you just I don't like to think that anybody out there is like wishing they would have done something differently. I mean, it's like talk about cliche, like, have no regrets, just go do what you want to do. And if it fails, then so be it. But if you want to do it, if you really want to do it, it won't fail,
Amen. And on that note, this is a perfect segue for. So you made it to our first closing segment is Ninja Tip of the Day. I mean, that was a really good ninja tip for life in general, but anything outdoors, man. What ninja tip do you have for our listeners out here in the East Coast? And even because we ironically, we've spread across the world, even Europe. For some reason, Europe really tunes in, which is really cool. Yeah, man. It's really cool how they've really kind of grasped. Maybe it's because if they travel, they're hitting the East Coast first. I think that's why. I may be wrong, but ninja tip of the day. Zach from the hunting public, what do you got?
I would just say get out and put yourself into situations where you're out of your comfort zone, whether that be in hunting or anything you do outdoors or anything you do in life. I mean, getting out of that comfort zone, I feel like just opens your mind as a person and like makes you realize that there's different situations out there. There's different hunting strategy, there's big hiking trails that are pretty crazy, whatever it may be. Like there's get out of your comfort zone. Don't just live a life where, you're just doing a 9 to 5, going from point A to point B and then just calling it a day and, kind of getting stale in life. I don't, mix it up, do something different, have a good time. Like make sure that you're getting the most out of life because, man, you only do it one time, and that's a scary thing to me. And to think that like I just didn't do it to the fullest is like a pretty scary thing to think about. It's like think about if you just like didn't live your life to the fullest and then it was over. It's like that sucks. That's my biggest tip, I guess, is to just get out of your comfort zone and live life to your fullest because once you do that, I think you just create opportunities to do something that you really want to do.
Amen, brother. Amen. And that's the reason why this Mexican ass don't sleep at night. Because I always say we need 36 hours in a day, not 24. Because, at the end of the day, when I finally get me time, it's like I try to reflect on my past day. And really, I that's exactly what I do. I try to make my life meaningful, which I'll piggyback off of your ninja tip is just really the way we live on forever, brother, is our memory or the memory of others of us. So, I mean, that's what I take out of your ninja tip is you live your life to the fullest. So this way you can live on forever and make your life meaningful. So let's make a flip turn and get to our next segment. Ryan, hit it. So, yo, Zach, what segment you think that is, man?
I think that's what rattles you up, right?
Yeah. What rattles your antlers, Zach from the hunting public? What rattles your antlers, man? What gets under your skin?
Oh man, a lot of things, but what gets under my skin? Currently, it's like. Well, here's something that gets under my skin a little bit. It's like that mentality of like using like hunting to be cool or to try to like beat somebody else, like we're all on the same team, man. Like, if you're judging like who shot the biggest buck is to be like somebody special or somebody better than the last guy, like, then in my opinion, you're doing it for the wrong reason. It's like, I personally think that, everybody should just be hunting for themselves or you hunt for yourself, but like you hunt, for a lot, you can hunt for a lot of different reasons, but like ultimately, like what you're going after is between you and that animal. And like, it doesn't matter like what the score is. It's fine if you look at the score, you're after a big buck. I'm after a big buck in the right situation, but I'm not basing everything off that. I'm not basing it off of like weighing myself up next to the next guy, to say, oh, I did a better job than you this season. That's not what I believe, and I don't. It really upsets me to see, so many guys doing it, and so many guys like almost shifting their whole reason that they hunt to, trying to outdo the next guy based off of an antler size. I mean, it couldn't matter any less. Here's my favorite thing to say. Nobody gives a shit about your mounts when you're dead. Word. Like, they don't. I mean, how many times, it's like a burden then. It's like, oh, now we got all these damn antlers, like, and some, some sun-bathed capes. Like now this guy's dead, and now we got to figure out something to do with these things.
Right.
I mean, nobody cares about how big antlers you killed. People care about like, I guess different stuff than that. Really, at the end of the day. So, I guess what really rattles me is like people caring too much about antler size and not caring about what the reasons that we really hunt. And I think if everybody just would take a step back and think about it, they would have a lot more fun, and then we'd all like be a lot better off. We'd all be a lot easier to just I guess help. And then we could focus on more important things like keeping the sport alive versus trying to be better than the next guy.
Amen, brother. Shit, preach it, man. Shit, I'd go to your church, Zach. I would go to your I would go to your church. It's like, damn, man. It's like, and that's what it takes. It's so simple. It's so simple that I just wish everyone would be on that level. Because, I mean, with any success, right? I'm sure you guys have, I wouldn't see it personally, but I'm sure you guys get your fair share of haters. And only because you guys are doing it the right way, and then plus I would imagine people that may know you that like wish they kind of had the sack to do it in the manner that you guys are approaching it. It's like, and that's the sad part about it, is we're all in our own way trying to do things the right way, and you could tell who's in it for the greater good or not. And I'll shoot that out there. Hashtag greater good is that's what it's about. We're on the same team. You said it here on the podcast. We're on the same team. There's so much room for it, and we're such a close group. It's like, why not band together? Why not hashtag unity so we could really be on that? I mean, I've said it before, and it's probably redundant to this point, is like as small as the little ant, how they're conformed to their bigger army. They accomplish I won't even say the word because I probably can't say it correctly, but impossible, feats that just coming together as an army, having the same goal is like, man, we could be so accomplished and reach those goals if we were only on the same page. It's like, damn, man.
Yeah, and you can all have our own personal goals, but again, like you're saying, the greater good, and the greater good should be, in my opinion, everybody's got the right to their own opinion. I will say that, like in my opinion, it should be to get more people to care about it, more people into the sport, because at the end of the day, man, like if you guys aren't hunting and like nobody else is hunting, and I'm not hunting, because like who's even gonna make a law about it? It's like you have to have a group that wants to do it, and the bigger that group is, the more they're gonna, people that are against what we do are not gonna have anything on us. That's, we gotta stand together, or we're never gonna make it anywhere.
And that's the truth, because Zach said it right here on the East Coast Bowhunting Podcast. So the way we like to end the show is around the positivity, and I always like to start with Trev, but I guess I'll start with Trev on the spot.
Nice. I'll take it. So my round of positivity is that we're 2 months closer to the opening day of bow season, and then another podcast down with another savage, and learning a ton from him, and keeping us grounded during this episode, and using what I've learned and keeping notes throughout this, and just using them to be successful in this upcoming season. And I can't thank you enough, Zach, for taking the time out of your day to spend it with us.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It was fun.
Hell yeah. Ryan, what you got?
Hell yeah, Trevor. You stole a little bit of mine, but on a positive note for me.
That's why I get to go first.
Yeah, I know. That's why when you were gone, man, I had all the room in the world for it. But on a positive note for me, this entire show tonight was all about unionizing as a whole. Even Zach's Rattly Antlers ended up being a positive thing in the end. So all about positivity, all about unity, and all coming together as a whole. Like Trev said, we're about 2 months away here in Connecticut, being back in that tree, chasing those whitetails around. It's time to outfit the new Ritual 33, get out there, get the first kill, and honor the ritual.
Amen. And what I have, what I bring positive to the table is, again, the hashtag unity, hashtag greater good, being on the same page with all our guests we have on the show, and including Zach. I mean, you represent a really reputable niche and group of guys. It's the hunting group. If you don't know about them, you need to know about them. So check them out. Check out their podcast. Zach is running the show now on their podcast, which, I mean, shit, if you like long-haired hunting motherfuckers, those are the ones to check out. So, yeah, I mean, don't fail and stay hunting. So, Zach, what do you have positive?
Hey, positive from today is that I had a really badass conversation with a group of guys that, I feel like think pretty similar to me, and stand for the same thing as me. And when it all comes down to it, I think deep down it's all there in everybody. And I think it's fun always to just talk to guys that are fired up about similar stuff to me, and just fired up about hunting in general. And seems like people are kind of getting fired up again about hunting. They're feeling positive about it in general. So I guess that's keep it simple there. I mean, enjoyed the conversation, guys. It's been awesome.
Amen, brother. And you know what? You weren't too aggressive. It was kind of gentle. So thank you, Zach. Oh, man. So on that note, stay stepping.
And stay slaying.
Podcast go straight to hell. Yeah. Speaking of hell, check out East Coast Bowhunting Podcast.
We keep it real on the East Coast. First of all, I'm addicted to the show.
I like that. That's cool. Full bore hunt. You live it. You breathe it.
It's a whole different world.
Just East Coast has a little bit more of an edge and a grind.
It's a fantastic thing.
You guys are fucking awesome.
Well, number one is you guys like beer. I want to feel like I'm hanging with the boys.
You're just guys that showed up.
But I actually saw Jesus.
The point where it is now where it's insane.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
I just want to get the realest people possible in the industry. You just got to piss people off. We're not doing it right.
Nothing forced. All fucking natural.